Let's get started. Today I want to tell you a story about one of my students. Her name is Angelina. Angelina and I recently talked, and she told me about her experience in my class 1 year ago. 1 year ago, she came from Paraguay in South America, and she came to class. She spoke almost no English. Of course, in Paraguay, she had studied English for many years. But, like most students, she mostly studied grammar. In her schools in Paraguay, they taught her English grammar. Grammar. So, when she came to the United States, she knew a lot of grammar, but she couldn't speak. And she couldn't understand Americans. When she came to my class on the first day, the beginner's class, she came with a textbook. She was ready to study more grammar. She thought, that's what you do in English class. That's how you learn English. You must study grammar. But she was a little surprised because I never used the textbook in the class. Instead, I told her a story, a very short story, kind of a funny, foolish little story. And I told it many times. The first time, I told the story very slowly. And then the second time, I told the story again. But this time, I asked many questions. Now, with a beginner's class, it was very simple, so I might say, there is a boy. And then I ask the students, is there a boy? And they answer yes. And I say, is there a girl? And they answer no. And then I ask, is there a boy? Or is there a girl? And they say, there's a boy. And I say, is there a big boy or a little boy? And then they have to answer, and sometimes I don't tell them so they can create the story with me. So maybe they say, oh, there's a little boy. And I say, okay, there's a little boy. And then I continue to tell the story in this way, using these very simple questions. Why am I doing this? Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. But first, let me tell you what happened with Angelina. At first, she thought this was very strange. She thought, why is this strange teacher telling me a story? We should be studying grammar. We should be opening the textbook and doing exercise number 6 and doing the little worksheets. Instead, we're doing a story, and I'm asking all these very simple questions, and I'm making them answer all these questions again and again and again and again. And I'm using a little bit of new vocabulary for the students, and with the new vocabulary, I ask a lot of questions. And then what happened? Well, then I said to Angelina, tell the story. Tell me the story. And she was a little shy at first and nervous because she thought she could not speak English, right? She can't speak English. No, can't do it. So she didn't want to tell the story. And I said, please, just try. Tell the story. I will help you. And what happened? She could do it. She was surprised. She was amazed because, yes, she could tell the story. She learned the story. She told the story very well. She used the vocabulary correctly. She even used correct grammar when she told the story, and she could tell the story without thinking too much. She was very surprised, happy and surprised. And she continued to come to my class. After only 2 weeks, her friends and her host family were very shocked and also surprised. They asked Angelina, what are you doing? Your English is much better. You're speaking much better. What are you doing? And she told them, well, I'm going to AJ's class and I'm telling stories every day. And that was the secret. And now Angelina speaks very well. I'm now teaching the high intermediate level class, and she's in my class again. And she told me this story. She told me about her experience in the beginning because she's very happy and she wanted me to know that it really helped her a lot. So let's go back and answer the question, why? Why was I doing that? Why was I telling the story in that way? Especially, why do I ask so many questions in my lessons? And why are the questions so easy? Well, the purpose of the questions is to get you thinking in English. My purpose is to make you think in English. So when I say, there is a boy, and then I ask you, is there a boy? Well, now your brain has to think in English very quickly. You have to say, yes, there's a boy. Now, if the question is very difficult, then you might try to translate. You might try to translate the difficult question into your language first. Then you will think of the answer in your language. Then you will translate your answer back into English. And then you will give me the answer in English. I don't want you to do that. So the questions must be very easy and simple so that your brain thinks in English instantly. It's so easy, you don't need to translate. So if I say, there is a boy, and then I ask you, is there a boy? Then you probably don't need to translate. You can probably very quickly say, yes. Then I ask another question, a little more difficult. Is there a boy or is there a girl? It's a little longer, still simple, but it makes you think a little more in English and you say, oh, there's a boy. And then I might ask more difficult questions later, especially if your level is higher. I might say, what is the boy's name? Or who is the boy? I might ask more who, what, where, why questions. And I will ask these questions again and again and again. And I'm making you think quickly in English and answer quickly in English. And the purpose is to make you think and respond without translating, automatically. That's the purpose of these mini stories, and it's the reason I ask so many obvious, simple questions. In fact, the questions are more important than the story, I think. The questions are the key to learning English automatically, so that you think in English, so you don't need to translate. And so on my lessons, on the Effortless English Club, when the members download the lessons, every lesson has a mini story like this, where I ask many, many, many questions. And I focus my questions on the new vocabulary. If there's a difficult word, I want to use that word many, many times in the story. That's how my members learn the word very deeply. It's not enough just to hear the definition. Huge means very, very big. Okay, that's not enough. That's not enough. If you just know that definition, you cannot think quickly in English and you cannot use it automatically. You have to hear that word many times in many different ways, asked in many different questions, using it in your answer very, very quickly. And after you do that 20, 30, 40, 50 times, huge becomes part of you. You can hear it and instantly know the meaning, and you can instantly use it when you want to, without thinking, without translating. I want to do that with every new phrase and vocabulary word. It's not enough just to know the meaning. You have to know it very deeply. And so, in every Effortless English lesson, you will hear a lot of questions during the little stories. And these questions are designed to help you learn the vocabulary, learn the phrases, and yes, even learn the grammar automatically. That's how you really learn grammar, not by studying a grammar book. Okay, so I hope you'll join us over at Effortless English at the Effortless English Club. You can you can get all of my lessons, and all of the lessons include mini stories with a lot of questions. To get our free newsletter, go to www.effortlessenglish.org. That's .org. One more time, that's www.effortlessenglish.org. Just enter your email and you will start getting my newsletter with information and suggestions about how to learn to speak English very easily, very quickly, no translating. See you next time. Bye-bye.